Hey everyone, today I want to talk about this great book, Framed Ink 2. This is the continuation of Marcos Mateu-Mestre's first book on composition. That is a Bible on composition. I think everyone that studied art has heard of it or studied from it. I have a review of it here on the channel. And today we're going to look at this beautiful new addition to the discussion. So as I always like to do, we're going to look at the index. So he starts with a review of what he talked about and discussed deeply, mostly like the storytelling aspects of composition in the first book. And in this one, he's going to focus a lot on the frame and the relationship between the parts inside the frame. So the energy within the frame in different formats, vertical versus horizontal, the lines of tension. He goes into the case of the farmer and the barrels that is super interesting, and different points of view and how that changes the overall discussion. The flow of the composition, so basics, understanding the silhouetting and how it differs inside a composition. And then a fun exercise, very interesting, this one, using lines of flow and changing the topics. We're going to get there. Dealing with crowds, a lot of people in one only piece. And then he goes into more cinematic cinematography approach, 1.85 to 1 versus 2.35 to 1, aspect ratios from cinema. As I always like to remember, Marcos Mateu-Mestre is a storyboard artist and layout artist for the animation industry. So this is very important for him and everyone that wants to go into keyframe illustration. This is going to be super important as well. Then he goes into against the format. So if you have a vertical team going into a horizontal panel and vice versa, splitting the screen. So this is basically what we always heard of composition. So the rule of thirds and dividing the composition in halves and everything, but discussed in his point of view of everything and how the dynamic changes inside the image. Then a short sequence. This is an example, a practical example of looking at the script, breaking down the elements, all the characters, props, vehicles, and everything in the scene, and then building what that shot and that sequence is going to look like. Finally, a graphic novel and some process and gallery analysis. So I'm going to go faster through this. So this is the review, and then he goes into what he's going to discuss based a lot on the format. I love the way he puts this and the tension and the extreme compression of the elements when they get close to the border of the frame. This is a very well explained. I love also an explanation by Ian McKay in his Schoolism workout that is a little bit of this. He changes themes as well to create different focal points, but these aspects are going to be in theories and tools are going to be super important as well. So a lot of examples of the release zone and pressure zone inside images and how you can use that in your favor. Lines of tension, normally like two characters looking at each other, especially in animation and film, but also elements can create a lot of tension. And the barrels here, the example, very interesting how how the perspective will change your point of view. And if you change where the camera is, so looking down, it will change the story and how you're perceiving it. If you put the camera on the floor or in the farmer's shoulder, it's a different feeling that you get from that. The flow inside and how composition works, so the basics, and then using the fun exercise, using one line of action and changing the topic in different examples. Very interesting approach, even for something that is more fine arts. So super interesting, and then you can use those and create your own as an exercise. Dealing with crowds, so different points of view and how it creates tension. If you want to focus on who is watching the audience, or if it's going to be like a top-down view and focus on the relationship between the players. The same for battle. So how different elements will create patterns, and different patterns will help reinforce the composition and have a breathing room and guide the eye and so on. So very interesting, and a little bit on visual research as well that he's going to discuss way more in his framed environment design book. And I'm going to do a review on that as well. So the change of format from 2.35 to 185. So very specific, but a very nice example for those that really want to go into film and how that is going to impact the way you're composing your shots. Different teams and formats. So sometimes you're going to have a more vertical approach in a horizontal format, and how to deal with that, and how to deal with the tensions and the flows inside the image. And the same vice versa if you have something that is more horizontal but you have a vertical format. Splitting the screens. So a lot of examples of dividing in thirds, and his thought on it, and the flow inside the image, and the balance and weights inside everything. So this is really, really good examples, dividing in halves and dividing in four as well. I love this. If you have something more far away in thirds and you go in closer, you can divide in fourth and have those elements spread out. So very good examples. This is the sequence. So a little bit on the idea and the script and all the characters, props, vehicles, and then going into the different shots and how they're going to convey the story. Different formats as well. Some really wide formats. Graphic novel panels. So this is a continuation of what he did on the first book. He has graphic novel discussion there as well. So he brings a little more in here briefly. And finally, the gallery and the process analysis for some other images and how to compose and to make them as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Amazing book. I hope this got you really inspired to study more composition. If you want to go into illustration, that's definitely a must to learn how to tell stories in a frame or different frame formats. This is the go-to book. So yeah, that's it from me today. I hope you got inspired. Have a great day and take care. Bye.